Kore Mwapenduka and welcome to Africa Good Morning, the show that keeps you up to date with the latest news in Africa and beyond. My name is Glenora Shipura, joined by Diana Master.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well.
It's a cold Tuesday.
Yes, it's a cold Tuesday as well.
I think it's been since yesterday.
Yeah.
It looks like we're in for a cold week.
We need to keep warm this week.
We need to keep warm, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's get into what you can expect in today's broadcast. North Korea's Kim offers full support for Putin. Children who survived 5 weeks in Colombia jungle finally found. South Africa takes 10th spot in list of countries with the worst health habits. We'll also be crossing over to Zambia to speak to Mike Sichila as he updates us on all the latest news that side. Stick around, we'll be back with our top stories right after this break.
Take a load off and tune into another episode of Brave Namibia as we take a look at both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. Brave Namibia is broadcasted on NTV Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. and oneup2.com, as well as broadcasted on the following Facebook platforms on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Republican, Allgemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and all Namibia Media Holdings pages. For more information, contact the Brave team at brave@synergy.com.na. Brave Namibia, for the ordinary and extraordinary Namibians.
Today is the 13th of June 2023, and here are your top stories. North Korea's Kim offers full support to Putin. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un offered his country's full support and solidarity to Moscow in a message to Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, state media reported. Kim sent the message of congratulations on the National Day of Russia, one of a handful of nations that maintain friendly relations with Pyongyang. His message, published by the official Korean Central News Agency, did not directly mention the invasion of Ukraine or Moscow's involvement in an armed conflict, but praised Putin's correct decision and guidance to foil the hostile forces' escalating threats. Now, the North Korean people, it added, extend full support and solidarity to the Russian people in their all-out struggle for implementing the sacred cause to preserve the sovereign rights, development, and interests of their country against the imperialist, high-ended, and arbitrary practices. In January, the United States accused North Korea of supplying rockets and missiles to the Russian mercenary group Wagner.
Children who survived 5 weeks in Colombia jungle finally found. 4 indigenous children who are missing for more than 5 weeks in Colombia's southern jungle will tell their own story about the ordeal, the father of the 2 youngest siblings said on Sunday. The children, aged 1 through to 13, survived a May 1st plane crash that killed their mother and 2 other adults and were found on Friday in Caqueta province after weeks of searching by the military and indigenous communities. Their ordeal began in early hours when the Cessna 206 aircraft carrying 7 people and traveling between Araraquara Airport in Caqueta and San Jose de Guaviare, a city in Guaviare province, issued a Mayday alert due to engine failure.
U.S. fundraising platform for charities says around $900,000 stolen by staff in DRC. A U.S.-based aid group said that approximately $900,000 was stolen from its Congo programs by members of the organization who conspired with outsiders. GIF directly said that it learned that people on its Congo team worked with people outside the organization to defraud the cash transfer programs, diverting aid from more than 1,700 impoverished families over 6 months starting in August 2022. This fraud was only possible because of a specific change we made in our payment process in order to work in this remote, insecure region of Congo, according to the statement from Monday. We feel deep regret for not catching this sooner and taking it seriously, the vulnerabilities it exposed. Now, GIF directly added that an investigation was ongoing and that it was able to recover a very small portion of the lost funds, but the majority of the $900,000 will likely be unrecoverable.
Now, in a rather disturbing report, South Africa takes 10th spot in list of countries with the worst health habits. South Africa ranks 10th out of 50 countries around the world for unhealthy lifestyle habits, suggests a recent study by medical aid comparison website medicalaid.com. The website analyzes the premiums and coverage offered by a wide variety of health insurance companies in South Africa. The study looked at 5 bad habits that are detrimental to human health, which are excessive snacking that leads to obesity, avoiding exercise, alcohol consumption, smoking, and sexually transmitted diseases prevalence per 100,000 people. Topping the list of countries with the unhealthiest habits was Bulgaria, which also recorded the highest smoking rate, followed by Latvia, which recorded the highest annual alcohol consumption, and Argentina in 3rd place. The United States came in at number 4, with Lithuania, Croatia, and Hungary hot on its heels with unhealthy habits. Estonia was 8th, followed by Germany at 9, and South Africa in the 10th slot with a 6.14 unhealthy lifestyle score. According to the study, 38% of South Africans are physically inactive with an obesity rate of 28.3%.
Wrapping up our top stories, young Nigerian entrepreneur in vanguard of green mobility. A 31-year-old entrepreneur, Mustafa Abubakar Kajibo, first converted petrol-powered minibuses into solar-powered electric vehicles in his workshop of Borno State. He now moved on to full designing and manufacturing of vehicles in his brand-new workshop in Abuja, the federal capital. Abubakar sought to address 2 main concerns: the high cost of living and environmental concerns. The young entrepreneur dropped out of university to pursue his dream. He then started his company, Phoenix Renewable Energy. In 2017, he began building electric vehicles. Even if he progressively gained recognition and experience, he had to overcome challenges ranging from the sourcing of materials to funding. He dreams of expanding electric buses in his country and beyond. Speaking to local media leadership NG, he said his company was contacted by people interested in his project from Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau.
After the break, we return with news from Zambia.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Lusaka is experiencing an increase in COVID cases. Here to bring us this story and more news from Zambia is Mike Sichula. Good morning, Mike.
Africa, good morning.
Can you take us into your first story, please?
Yes, like you've rightly put it, Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia, is experiencing an increase in the number of COVID cases that health authorities have continued to record. So in the last 24 hours, there has been about 84 cases of COVID that were recorded. This is something that represents about 7% positivity as compared to 5% recorded a few days ago. So this can be attributed to the cold weather that the country is also experiencing, and it is also being attributed to the lack of adherence to COVID preventive measures such as face masking, social distancing, as well as avoiding crowded places. This has come about because authorities not long ago did tell the nation that people can drop their guard because COVID was now under control. But with the state of affairs, it's something that authorities now need to address in order to ensure that the cases do not continue to accelerate, and also they do not lead to death, because so far the Ministry of Health has not recorded any death from the cases that they have recorded so far.
We certainly do hope that the people of Zambia are taking all necessary precautions. Now, on a rather sad note, police are investigating a case of abortion at one of the colleges in Lusaka. What are the details?
The details to this case is that a student at Evenhorn College, which is just within the heart of the city, Lusaka, is under police guard after she aborted her pregnancy in a hostel bathroom. According to police spokesperson Mr. Ray Amonga, the first-year student, Felistas Mwanza, aged 20, of Mozambique Hostel, is studying a diploma course in conducted an abortion on Saturday, 10th June, between 05 and 06 at the college. So the matter was reported by one of the fellow students, a security guard, actually, Mr. Roger Stembo, who reported that a first-year student aborted a female in the female bathroom. The incident was discovered by a fellow students who reported this matter to the security guard. So it apparently she went into some hostel and she conducted the sad thing, but the fetus was thrown there in the bathroom, and blood crossed, which when they followed, they managed to trace her to say that she was the one who did that thing. So they got her and took her to the clinic where the college, and the lady was later transferred to Chilenje Level 1 Hospital, where she's currently receiving treatment. So this is something that has happened at one of the oldest and biggest colleges in Lusaka, the Evenhorn College.
Truly disturbing news. Now, moving on, has the local authority begun the exercise to stop selling alcohol in bus stations and markets?
Yeah, like I did report last week, that the Lusaka City Council and the mother ministry, the Ministry of Local Government, it has expressed concern on the number of people drinking alcohol in markets and bus stations. So according to the ministry, this is something that is slowly becoming a national problem, because people are getting drunk anywhere they can go. And the sad part is that in markets where they're supposed just to conduct businesses of not of selling alcohol, this business is becoming is thriving, and also the illicit sale of locally brewed beer is something that is getting away from the control of authorities. So the Minister of Health and also the Ministry of Local Government have partnered together with Zambia Police to now moving into these markets and begin to arrest anyone that will be found selling beer and other alcohol beverages in markets and bus stations. So the Lusaka City Council Public Health Director Victor Kagoli says the exercise is going to happen because the marketeers were given a 7 days ultimatum in which they should stop their such businesses. So in the next 7 days in the next 2 or 3 days going upwards, the ministry is going to be busy. A combined team of police officers and health inspectors are going to go flat out in markets and bus stations to ensure that this issue is brought to an end.
All right, now, Mr. Sichuda, briefly, any latest update from the recent standoff between the government and the Catholic Church?
Yes, there has been some progress because a team of cabinet ministers has been constituted, and they have been meeting with the leadership of the Catholic Church. So far, what we've been told is that something is being done behind closed doors. Then later on, the nation is going to be informed on what has been discussed from behind the scenes. But what we have also received is that the Catholic Church has urged its members not to comment on this matter until a final communique comes out between what the government has been discussing with the church. So far, things are calm and there hasn't been any messages of hate between the two camps.
Thank you so much, Mike, for bringing us the stories from Zambia.
Africa, good morning. Do have a blessed week. Thank you very much.
It's always good hearing from Mr. Mike Sichula. Now, Powerline Africa is a company active in the electricity supply industry, specializing in turnkey contracting and project management. The company, which is fully Namibian-owned, celebrated the completion of 2,038 hectares overhead power cable system of 400 kilovolts from Ours to Gerus this weekend at Farm Success. This video was contributed by Ogeto Craig.
Powerline Africa has handed over 287 kilometers of 400 kilovolt electricity transmission line to NamPower. At a celebration of completion of the project at Farm Success over the weekend, Richard Himmel said it was an honor for Powerline Africa to learn from NamPower, take that knowledge out of the country, and bring it back to build this power line. Well done, he told employees of the company he has spent his life building up.
Maar een ding sal julle nie vergeet nie. Dis die hoofding. En ek hamer daarop. Alles wat ek gedoen het ek vir Namibia gedoen.
Powerline Africa is a wholly Namibian-owned company able to provide turnkey solutions and innovation in the power distribution industry in the SADC region. At the celebration, NamPower's senior transmission engineer, Martin van der Merwe, said the achievement will impact the whole country.
It has a massive impact on us as a country. It is something to be very proud of. Just like the numbers, 287 kilometers, 566 hours.
Volker Rogmeyer, representing the contractors, highlighted that the asset can now be handed over to NamPower, which will be able to electrify the line and connect it to the national grid and start making profit from it within a month. Joan Erlang, Powerline Africa site manager, spoke of how the massive undertaking gained momentum soon after the signing of the $630 million contract on 16 April 2021.
So, the beginning, 16 April 2021, contract signage. Totaal 11 containers, 180 tente en 150 nuwe aanstellings.
Marco Himmel said that with opportunity must come responsibility to ensure success.
That opportunity without responsibility results in failure.
Francois Skumbi, Powerline Africa CEO, said that over the last 2 years, Powerline Africa has established 500 kilometers of 400 kilovolt transmission lines, including the Juno to Khomas project finished with Eskom in South Africa.
For me, these principles have allowed us to compete and feature on the international front throughout Africa, forcing us always to be one step ahead through turnkey solutions. And that's a concept that was originally ingrained in us by NamPower, successfully obtaining ISO certification and maintaining that certification. They say it's easy to get an A+, but to keep that A+ is even more difficult.
Getting into our economic news, Eskom accepts fate after Treasury declines exemption on wasteful expenditure. ailing state-owned parastatal Eskom has accepted its fate after Treasury denied its exemption from disclosing irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditures in its annual financial statements. On Wednesday, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana issued a statement to say that he had declined the request.
Now let's take a look at these economic indicators, proudly sponsored by Bank Vintic, before we return with our sports news with Ari Hogad.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with golf news first is from the Ladies PGA, the LPGA in the United States of America. And good news for Southern African interests is that Ashley Buhai won the ShopRite Ladies PGA Classic, and she won it by one shot over Hung Yu Kim of South Korea. It's Ashley Buhai that closed with a great round of 65 in the third round. Actually, her second round was also a 65, and she finished with a total of minus 14, and that was her first win on the PGA. It was Ashley Buhai that recently won the South African Open and also the Australian Open, and she also won the British Open. That was last year. So it was Ashley Buhai that's been playing great golf. She's 35 years old, and a great performance, winning her first tournament on the LPGA. Other Southern African interest in the tournament is Paula Rito of South Africa. She finished tied 22nd. She closed with a 69 for a total of minus 5. And then Leanne Pace, she closed with a final round of 71 for a total of minus 4. And that put her in tied 30th position. Then on the men's PGA, it was the Canadian Open, or the Canadian Classic, sponsored by RBC, and it was won by a Canadian golfer. It is Nick Taylor that won in a playoff against Tommy Fleetwood, and it was a drama on the last playoff hole, as it was Nick Taylor that held a 22-meter putt on the playoff hole to beat Tommy Fleetwood into second position. Southern African interest also there. It was MJ Duffy of South Africa that played well. He finished on tied 38, and that was with a total of minus 5. For Nick Taylor, this is a good achievement regarding his world rankings. He puts him in the top 50 in the world rankings. That's also always significant to qualify for the majors, and he moves down from number 69 in the world rankings to number 40th with his win in Canada. And moving on to soccer news, and it was a great performance again by Al Ahly, the soccer club of Egypt in Cairo, and they won the 11th CAF Championship League club title, and that was with an aggregate score of 3-2 that they won against Wydad, and the last game finished in a 1-1 draw. So that was the 11th title for them, dominating African club football for the last decade. Also, it was the World Cup Under-20 finals that was played. That was the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. It's played in Argentina, and it was Uruguay that came out as winners, beating Italy by 1-0. And it was also in the third and fourth playoff, it was Israel that did brilliantly. They beat South Korea by 3-1. Israel earlier in the quarterfinals had a big surprise, or responsible for a big surprise, when they beat Brazil and knocked them out of the tournament. And closing off today's international sports news with MotoGP news, and always lots of excitement on the motorcycle.
You're still watching Africa Good Morning. Let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast, just in case you need a quick recap. North Korea's Kim offers full support to Putin. Children who survived 5 weeks in Colombia jungle finally found. US fundraising platform for charities says around $900,000 stolen by staff. Eskom accepts a fate after Treasury declines exemption on wasteful.
And with that, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Do remember that Africa Good Morning repeats tomorrow, same time, same place. I am Glenn Rashipura.
And I am Diana Master, and we wish you a lovely Tuesday ahead.